Thank you for watching this presentation on vent-free heating systems. We hope you find this time well spent and very informative. My name is Chad Ackner. I'm the Technical Service Advisor for Dealers LP Equipment and the R.E. Michael Company. R.E. Michael has corporate headquarters in Glen Burnie, Maryland, while Dealers LP Equipment has locations in Davenport, Iowa, Louisville, Kentucky, Hickory, North Carolina, Jackson, Mississippi, Dothan, Alabama, and also Memphis, Tennessee. It's important to note that anything discussed today should not in any way be construed to override any of your local applicable codes, any of your insurance requirements, or any of your company policies. Anything referenced today is from NFPA 54 and also NFPA 58. All propane installations must comply with both NFPA 54 and NFPA 58. Those installations must also comply with your local AHJ, or authority having jurisdiction, which may be a local code enforcement agency or a fire marshal. Company policies must always be followed, in addition to following manufacturer's instructions. Part of the code is to actually follow the manufacturer instructions, whether it pertains to NFPA 54 or NFPA 58. So that is actually written into the code. Always work safely, document everything that's performed during the installation or during the service work, and retain all documentation. A breakdown of the differences between NFPA 54 and NFPA 58 are that NFPA 58 will cover everything from the container all the way up until the outlet of the delivery regulator. Now that may be an integral twin stage regulator or a second stage regulator. NFPA 54 covers everything from the outlet of that very same regulator all the way inside the building. Vent-free gas heating products and also hearth products are designed and built to fit a certain segment of the gas heating market. These units are not designed for sole heating purposes, rather for space heat. Some of the most common applications are vent-free space heaters, log sets, inserts, fireplaces, and also freestanding stoves. There's not much of a mystery surrounding how vent-free gas products work. First of all, they take room air for combustion like many other types of gas heating equipment. There is no vent required. And because moisture is a byproduct of gas combustion, many people view vent-free heating products as being units with a built-in humidifier. That can be particularly important in the cold, dry winter months. However, they must be sized properly. These units are also 99% efficient because the heat is being transferred directly into the living space. There are exceptions, but the vast majority of all vent-free gas products do not require electricity. That's valuable when the power shuts off. They burn clean. They're available in infrared, blue flame, and also fan convection or fan-assisted models. Many indoor air quality tests have been done, including tests performed by the AGA. Indoor air quality standards are met by vent-free gas products. As a matter of fact, they fall well below the threshold and allow for a very safe operation in a residential application. Vent-free gas heating products and hearth products are allowed to be installed in the United States, with the exception of California and Minnesota. However, any installer should check with their local codes, contact their local authority having jurisdiction in the cities and the counties that they operate in, and inquire about specific codes that are applied for vent-free heating products. It's important to find out what your local applicable codes are regarding vent-free products, so you can transfer that information onto the consumer. Because of the combustion air requirements and the fact that a byproduct of gas combustion is water vapor, the sizing of vent-free gas appliances is critically important. There are exceptions. However, NFPA 54 states that vent-free gas heaters up to and not to exceed 6,000 BTUs are allowed to be installed in a bathroom in a residential application, provided that vent-free unit does include an oxygen depletion sensor or an oxygen depletion safety shutoff system. With regard to a bedroom, a vent-free gas unit of up to 10,000 BTUs is allowed to be installed, again, so long as it has an oxygen depletion safety shutoff system installed. Again, it's very important to make sure that you check with your local authority having jurisdiction that this is allowed in your jurisdiction. It's also important to note that unvented room heaters shall be listed in accordance with ANSI Z21.11.2 gas-fired room heaters and unvented room heaters, and they should also be installed in accordance, and this is important, with the manufacturer's installation instructions. So often we talk about NFPA 54 and NFPA 58 and their requirement to install equipment based on the manufacturer's installation instructions, and unvented appliances, whether it's hearth products or gas heating equipment, is no different. Again, it's very important to understand that all vent-free gas products must be installed in the presence of or in addition to a primary heat source, and that they're only to be used as a supplemental heat source. Again, bedrooms are generally permitted to have vent-free appliances of up to 10,000 BTUs installed, and bathrooms are generally permitted to allow vent-free gas products of up to 6,000 BTUs installed. Always check with your local authority having jurisdiction to verify that your area is in compliance with these guidelines. A big part of the popularity and the success of vent-free gas products, since they were introduced back in 1980, was the introduction of the ODS pilot assembly, or the oxygen depletion sensor, which was built into the safety pilot of every vent-free gas product. Since 1980, the Consumer Product Safety Commission has documented no deaths due to the emissions of an ODS-equipped product, which is great news. Today, more than 20 million households in the United States are using an ODS-equipped vent-free gas product. Part of the importance of properly sizing vent-free gas products is understanding what region you're in and sizing that unit accordingly. Again, always checking with your state guidelines and your local authority having jurisdiction to verify your compliance. Properly sizing a vent-free gas product can be done in a few simple steps. First of all, the consumer must provide the volume of space or the size of the room that they desire to heat. They also need to provide the house construction. Is it loose, average, or tight construction? What type of heating appliance are they looking for? Are they looking for a thermostatic control, or are they looking for a manual operation? And of course, what region or what part of the country is the installation located in? Once you have that information, we can begin to size the heater properly. The first thing we do is to find the heater input rate in BTU per hour per cubic foot from Table A. according to the information that you just discovered from 1B, 1C, and 1D. In other words, the information that the consumer provided you. Once we've determined what the BTU per hour per cubic foot from table A is, you multiply that value from table A by the volume of space from 1A, again, the amount of space that the consumer said they wanted to heat. The result of this will provide a minimum heater input in BTU per hour. In other words, it'll tell you the size heater that you need to heat that particular space in that particular region. Empire has put together a vent-free sizing chart for the hearth products that they manufacture. Consider this a quick reference guide with regard to the hearth products selected and the room size selected or indicated by the consumer. When installing any vent-free appliance, always follow local and national codes. Read and follow all manufacturer's instructions. Pay close attention to instructions for distances to combustibles. Make sure gas piping is properly sized. Make sure there are no drafts or air circulation devices that can alter the flame pattern. And also verify that the proper gas type is listed on the data plate of the appliance. We often mention the importance of following the manufacturer's installation instructions, particularly when we talk about the federal code. Well, the Fire Marshal of the state of Mississippi issued a notice or a warning with regard to just that. He indicated that installations were not being done per the manufacturer's installation instructions. This was not only homeowners installing vent-free gas products incorrectly, but also some of the installers. So this is not an isolated incident. The bottom line is to always make sure instructions are followed per the manufacturer. The manufacturer or the engineers for the manufacturer understand the proper way to install the appliance, even better than the engineers who wrote the federal code. Before a vent-free gas appliance is installed, it's important to make sure that the area is prepared properly and that we also communicate properly with the end user or the consumer. If installing gas logs, make sure the chimney and the firebox have been properly cleaned. If installing vent-free gas wall heater or vent-free gas fireplace, make sure the area is free and clear of dust and any debris. Remember, vent-free gas appliances use room air for combustion. The cleaner the environment is, the cleaner and the better performing the heater will be. Always make sure the end user or the consumer is aware of the proper operation of the unit. And also make sure that all important information with regard to lighting instructions, any safety information, and also what to do in case of an emergency is left with the end user. The combustion requirements for a vent-free gas appliance are no different than any other gas appliance. Oxygen, heat, and fuel are all required to support combustion. I mentioned earlier that the heart of any vent-free gas appliance is the oxygen depletion sensor, or ODS, which is built into the pilot assembly of every vent-free gas appliance. The pilot burner on the oxygen depletion sensor contains a precision orifice, generally made of glass, and it also has an air injection opening. Altering the orifice or damaging it or also restricting the air input can cause the ODS pilot assembly to malfunction and not operate properly. The room air that we all breathe is made up of 21 to 23% oxygen. When that oxygen level is decreased at the pilot assembly of a vent-free gas appliance to a level no lower than 18%, and that's the magic number, the flame will actually lift off and cool the thermocouple. Once it does that, the pilot assembly will extinguish and shut the heater off. This is all completed by the laws of combustion. Hazardous levels of depleted oxygen is actually 12% or lower. So in theory, the level of 18% for an ODS pilot assembly to extinguish is well above the safety range. Here's an ODS pilot assembly sequence of operation. We mentioned we need heat for combustion. The first thing that's done is a spark is created by the piezo igniter. At the same time, gas is exiting the pilot burner, which ignites off the spark. The ODS thermocouple is heated from the pilot flame. The ODS thermocouple contains a path of dissimilar metals. When those metals are heated, they react, and they cause small amounts of voltage to be carried back to the gas valve. This small amount of voltage will hold the magnet open inside the gas valve and allow gas to continually flow to the pilot assembly. Once the ODS pilot assembly is lit, there are generally two selections for burner operation. The first option is a manual control. Manual control is operated by rotating the valve manually to its desired position. There's also an option for a millivolt control. A millivolt control can be operated manually. It can also be remotely operated or thermostatically operated. The millivolt control gives you or the operator many more options. There's also the option of a hydraulic thermostat. Hydraulic thermostat will operate with a dial selecting which temperature is desired. There are no extra accessories needed for this operation. We talked earlier about the importance of sizing vent-free units. One of those reasons is because water vapor is a product or a byproduct of gas combustion. For every 1 gallon of propane that's consumed or burned, nearly 1 gallon of water vapor is emitted into the atmosphere. With a vent-free appliance, this water vapor is being placed directly into the living space. Another way to look at this is that for every 1,000 BTUs of combustion, 1/2 to 1 ounce of water is produced. Again, 1 gallon of propane produces just under 1 gallon of water vapor during combustion. Of course, this varies by location, what the air temperature is, and certain other conditions within the home. Oftentimes in the dry winter months, excessive moisture can be a benefit inside the residence. However, if the vent-free unit is sized improperly or used in excess, the moisture can create an issue. Multiple studies have been done on the indoor air quality, and in this case, the moisture or humidity level, comparing homes with vent-free gas appliances and without vent-free gas appliances for each 5 regions. You'll notice that the addition of a vent-free appliance does not dramatically add to the moisture level inside the home if they're sized and installed properly. Compare region 1 to region 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you'll notice that each region has acceptable humidity levels both with and without a properly installed vent-free appliance. If images like this are seen with a vent-free appliance in place, don't always assume it's a problem with the vent-free appliance. Oftentimes, environmental issues come into play and have adverse effects on the performance of a vent-free appliance. If any sooting is discovered in the vicinity of a vent-free appliance, the first thing to check would be for dirt, debris, or any pet hair in the vicinity of the air intake on the vent-free gas appliance burner. Vent-free products, like any other heating appliance, need to be maintained. Most manufacturers of vent-free appliances recommend yearly or annual inspections and cleanings. Like any other propane gas appliance, the proper air mixture to propane is 24:1, which equals 96% air to 4% propane. If the air intake on the burner to a vent-free or any propane appliance for that matter is compromised with dirt, debris, or pet hair, it will alter that ratio or that percentage. That will lead to a sooting problem. When the need arises to clean an ODS pilot assembly, the use of a compressed duster or canned air is not recommended. What's recommended is the use of a simple piece of copper tubing or any tubing and blowing out the air intake and the gas outlet of the ODS pilot assembly with the gas turned off. This will safely remove any pet hair, dust, or debris from the pilot assembly without accumulating any flammable materials inside the firebox. Another thing that can cause sooting on a vent-free appliance, in this case a gas log set, would be improperly placed gas logs in a vent-free log set. Flame impingement directed beneath or on the side of a log that is not designed to be there will create sooting or a sooting effect on the gas logs. Always make sure to refer to the manufacturer's log placement instructions and verify that the logs that are shipped and received with the vent-free log set are placed properly. Another thing that is sometimes overlooked and does create sooting is improper air movement. Ceiling fans, cold air returns, outdoor air kits, and even ash pits inside of existing fireplaces can and will create air movement issues, which will cause in turn sooting. The air movement will move the flame pattern when the log set is operational, and distorting this flame pattern will create impingement, which ultimately will create sooting. So anytime a vent-free appliance is in use, the ability for air to move or impact the flame pattern will dramatically affect the operation of the unit. With incomplete combustion, sooting will occur, CO levels will rise, and the flame characteristics will become unrealistic. All of those things together not only are unsafe, but they'll add up to an unhappy customer. One of the biggest contributors to sooting in a home or a residence with a vent-free appliance is the use of candles. Candles are produced of basically two items, paraffin wax and scented oils. These have a tendency to burn dirty. They will absolutely cause microscopic soot particles to form, and the lesser quality candles are even more at risk. These will also create odors, almost like a kerosene burning odor. If the vent-free appliance, when it's operational, puts off water vapor, as is the normal course of operation with any gas appliance, and the homeowner is burning candles alongside of a vent-free appliance, it's easy to see how the microscopic soot particles from the candles being burned will adhere to the moisture that's being emitted from the vent-free appliance, causing a sooting issue, which oftentimes is thought to be an issue with the gas appliance, when in reality it's an issue with the candles that are being burned. Installers and end users alike all should be aware of the potential risks of odor creation with a vent-free appliance. Again, it's not necessarily the gas vent-free appliance causing the issue. It's generally an environmental issue. Candles, aerosols, polishes or cleaners, air fresheners, new paint or stain in the building, or new carpeting which contains aldehydes, All have been well documented to cause odors from vent-free appliances. In addition to having a conversation with installers and end users about the characteristics of vent-free appliances, it's important to explain how to light the pilots, how the burner lights off of the pilot assembly, where to shut the gas off in an emergency, and also how to avoid nuisance smells and moisture issues. Vent-free gas appliances are one of the best options in solving space heating problems or issues in many residences. It's important to understand the basic sizing guidelines, where they can and cannot be installed, and also how to communicate with the customer about the way gas vent-free appliances operate. Now it's time for some Q&A. True or false? Vent-free gas appliances are 85% efficient. The answer is false. If permitted by the authority having jurisdiction, blank BTU vent-free heaters are the maximum allowed in bedrooms. The answer is 10,000 BTUs. True or false? 2 gallons of water vapor are produced for every gallon of propane consumed. The answer is false. It's nearly 1 gallon. Installing vent-free gas appliances falls under the jurisdiction of NFPA. The answer is NFPA 54. True or false? When oxygen levels drop to a level no lower than blank, an ODS pilot assembly will extinguish itself. The answer is 18. Thank you for watching this presentation on vent-free gas appliances. Hopefully you've picked up some information to share with your colleagues. Thanks very much and have a great day.